This episode of Taqueando is brought to you by El Encanto in Santa Barbara, Santa Barbara's most storied luxury hideaway. Up in the hills of the American Riviera, El Encanto has been welcoming guests since 1918. It is a 90-room property with individually styled bungalows and suites spread across 7 acres of terraced gardens, with panoramic views of downtown Santa Barbara and the Pacific. It feels tucked away and serene, but you are just minutes from everything. And I'll say this personally, when I'm in Santa Barbara, this is my favorite place to stay. There's just nothing else like it. There is a zero-edge pool overlooking downtown Santa Barbara and the Pacific Ocean, a boutique spa, bikes to cruise around town, and access to fitness and wellness programming. And the food is serious. The dining room and terrace is helmed by multiple James Beard Award nominee, Chef Joel Veland, whose resume includes Noma and Gramercy Tavern. It is seasonal Central Coast cuisine, thoughtful wines, and one of the best views in California. They also host an intimate culinary series that brings in celebrated chefs for special evenings of food, wine, and storytelling. Whether you are planning a romantic weekend, a wedding, or just need to reset with some ocean air and great meals, El Encanto is the move. Visit elencanto.com and book your stay and tell them Taqueando sent you. Hey everyone, welcome to Taqueando. I'm your host, Bill Esparza, and this week I'm going back to one of my favorite cities in Mexico, actually one of my favorite cities in the world, to a wonderful trip I took with Chef Noah Galuten and Chef Eloy Alvarez Uribe. And a little bit about both of these guys. They're friends too, and they are friends of the podcast before they ever got on the podcast. Noah Galuten is a James Beard Award-winning cookbook author, freelance writer, and he's a YouTube host. He didn't want me to say that, but I'm keeping it. He's got a Substack called I'm Legally Required to Feed You, and that's about parenting. I've heard about parenting. It's an interesting concept. And so on the Substack, you can read his articles, and he's got a podcast as well. His new barbecue smokeout show is on Tastemade, and he's got a book coming up called Grill Time, and we're going to be talking about that today, which we'll publish on May 26th. And of course, you also know that Noah, as a chef, helped open Bloodsoe's Bar and Q in 2013 and helped launch beloved Los Angeles restaurants like Koufax and Prime Pizza. He made my life very difficult by making a really viral breakfast burrito that all the white people love. So I have to live with that. And and Chef Eloy, of course, and we're going to talk about these guys a little bit here at the beginning because like I said, we're catching up. We had this wonderful road trip, but Chef Eloy is based in Hermosillo. He's probably one of the most unsung legends of Mexico, and he's a consulting chef there. He can't really tie him down to a restaurant. He likes to be loose and be free. And he often travels with top Mexican chefs as a pair of hands at events all over the world. And he has been a local culinary investigator for 15 years. And let me tell you, there is no one that knows Hermosillo more. And I know that's a weird thing to say sometimes because there's somebody's going to say, well, what about this person, that person? But Eloy, really, just for pure passion, he doesn't have a book about it. Do you have maybe he's going to have a book. He often isn't paid for this, and he passes on information to all kinds of people freely, and including both Noah and I. And Noah's really exploiting him, but I exploit him like a little bit less. And Eloy was a fixer on Netflix's Taco Chronicles for 2 seasons. He did the burrito and the carne asada episodes. And so here they are, my good friends. Welcome, Noah and Eloy from Hermosillo and Los Angeles, respectively.
It's good to be here, Bill. Thanks for having us. And you know about parents. I feel like you've dated a couple of parents over the years, I feel like.
Yes, I did. I did date, in my long, I'm 57. So yes, there's been everything.
Once some people come back on the market later, Bill.
that's that's true. Um, well, but yes, I know I'm a dog daddy. I'm a
There
doggy
you go.
daddy.
Mhm.
There you go.
So, and I do know about that. So
Seriously.
I also have love in my life, Noah. You know, and
I know it.
I am obligated legally to feed them. Uh, yeah, there's a law there too. So I wanted to just kind of catch up with you guys. Really, our history. Um, I want to say I sort of met both of you around the same time. Uh, as a young blogger, uh, damn, I wasn't young. I was in my 30s, I think. As a younger blogger, I was writing about stuff in Los Angeles, but I was also in Mexico, traveling there all the time. And Eloy, did I meet you around 2008 or earlier? 2008, I think. 2009.
Yes. 2008. 2000, no. Today, 2008. 2008.
Yeah, 2008. And
Yes.
wasn't it the same for us, Noah?
I'm so bad at time, but it sounds right.
When did you start Man Bites Food?
God, that that sounds about right. Something around there. I feel like you and I probably met on a Chowhound board first.
We probably met at some event when bloggers were getting all the invites for those things. So I
But
know you were
we
doing
had
something.
one we
What's
had
that?
one really we got one really fun trip where we really got to bond, and that was
You
when we
were on
went
the
to
infamous trip that I organized to Tijuana for 19 of us
yeah.
back in
Oh,
2009. I want to say
I'm proud to
2009.
say I was the only blogger on that trip who wrote about the food in the red light district.
You mean Kentucky Fried Buches?
We had that, but there was like also little little chicharron burritos in like salsa verde. There was like guys shucking oysters. The red light district, it's not my scene, but the food is, and so that was fun
Well,
to see. The
I
stuff
know
out
that I
there.
took you guys to Kentucky Fried Buches, but it sounds like you wandered off.
Hey man, I'm just always trying to find the story.
Well, yeah, Kentucky. Well, Kentucky. Eloy, do you remember Kentucky Fried Buches in Tijuana?
yes, of course.
Did you ever go?
Yes. I think also I went with you. After a Baja Culinary Fest with Javier, we went to Kentucky Fried Chickens, and after that, we went in front for the culinary tour
Yeah, you know
and the delights.
that place was so special to me because it's really unique in Mexico. It's fried chicken neck tacos, and that's it. That's all they had. They literally had frozen chicken necks that they got probably from like some kind of Smart and Final thing or something. Schmaltz to fry it in, and then one salsa and store bought, not store bought, but tortilla corn tortillas that were cheap and perfect and beautiful, and and it was so good. It's actually what got me the Bizarre Foods show with Andrew. I
Oh,
sent
cool.
that. They're like, send me a story. Like, there's this chicken neck taco place in the red light district, and that's all they serve. They've been there since the 70s, and I think Bourdain went there and Zimmern and all of us as well. So I missed that place. It closed. Um, so
Just goes to
yeah,
show there's a fetish for every body part in the red light district.
yeah, there is.
Literally.
There there is. So yeah, I mean, so I think yeah, we have it right here that we all met around the same time, 2008 ish, 2009, and but you and I were both bloggers, and Eloy in 2008, where were you working?
I was at Hermosillo with a restaurant of sandwiches and salads and something like that.
I
And
remember that.
you travel here, and Javier Plasencia calls me and, hey, are you at Hermosillo? Yes, please host my friend. And I'm gonna share the contact. If Javier Plasencia calls me, he's like my godfather. He
Yeah,
calls me and asks me for something. Of course, I'm and you were here, and we have a great tour, great places, and I met you. I believe that time also with Attila. maybe you came with
Yeah,
Attila, or the second time. I don't remember if it was the first or the second with Attila.
yeah, right, exactly. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people come. Javier Plasencia refers everyone to Eloy, and honestly, there is no other place to go. But it's funny. I mean, Eloy. Let's be honest. All these people, Taco Chronicles, they just came and left you. But I've been coming every year for the last, since two.
Brother, you are the only one that I know, from the world that continuously come to Sonora and Hermosillo, of course, all the world, but to Sonora, bringing people, developing business, our concepts have been traveled to Australia, to LA, to all over the world, your ideas, sharing Sonora. I love that.
And I'm the asshole who said, "Why don't you come to L.A. and cook for my book dinner on my
Yeah, I
book
really
pop up?"
called you. So yeah, so this is how I mean this great. Thank you for the transition, Noah, because this is where we were going. We've done this before. We got this. We got our shtick here. But the yeah, and so when you were asking me about carne asada, and I was like, hey, let's go to Hermosillo, and I had just done one trip. No, wait a minute. Um, no, I've been going every year, but I sort of had a really good itinerary together for that, and I kind of had the itinerary already, and like you just like stepped into it.
I mean, it's one of the great things about you, Bill, is like you will not compromise for anything. And so when I told you that I wanted to learn about carne asada, I'm a kid who grew up in Southern California and Los Angeles, and like to think that I eat pretty well out here. But I'm writing this cookbook about grilling called Grill Time. Comes out May 26th, and I wanted to say, you know what, if I'm going to have a carne asada recipe in my cookbook, I want to like make sure I'm doing it the right way. And so, of course, I reached out to you and I said, maybe you can take me around LA to the best places. And you said, no, if you want to learn about carne asada, we have to go to Hermosillo. And I said, I don't really have time for that. And you said, well, then we're not going to help you. And so we scheduled it and cut to a few weeks later. We took a train to San Diego, hopped across the border, flew to Hermosillo. We brought my buddy Ben, who's an amazing director, and Keenan, our amazing DP. And it was a research trip that turned into a YouTube video that I guess eventually led to the Cineteca Sonora as well.
Yeah, it became a documentary. Your team did a good job. Even Rob, my producer, was like, man, who was that? So
They're incredible. They It's the same team that we do with More Budget, aka Any Budget, for our Taste Made show with Kevin Bloodsoe, the barbecue show we shoot.
yeah, man, and it was a fun time. But I want to ask you, and we obviously were there and we talked all throughout the trip, but it was when you're doing that kind of eating and it's all meat, there's meat sweats, but there's also like meat hallucinations and misty meat mind, and like a lot of things probably were lost and all that running around to so many restaurants.
Well, that's
And
why we also had Metamucil mornings on
the
that shoot.
Metamucil mornings, exactly. Uh, but you've been covering the scene. You started just like me as a blogger, and you also wrote for LA Weekly. You were covering tacos in Los Angeles. You've seen the growth of carne asada in Los Angeles. Where are you at now? What's your paradigm on carne asada, having been to Hermosillo?
I mean, I say in the video, it's on our YouTube channel. It's called "I Found the Best Carne Asada in the World," and it was one of those things where you spend your whole life thinking you know something and you've had something and you liked it, and then you go to Hermosillo and it just completely changed everything I knew about carne asada. I mean, first and foremost, it's just meat and salt and mesquite charcoal. And people are constantly blown away by that, that the fact that you're not marinating, arrachera, and that's the only option. And
Oh,
so it's
oh, oh! I know what that was. Thank you, thank you for playing into my, my trap there. Yes, carne asada is not marinated beef. Where you cook the shit out of it and beat it to a pulp. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And so it just completely opened my eyes. But it was not just obviously. that we went to one place that was great. It was that there was an entire sort of culture and worldview around carne asada in Hermosillo, and it's everything from the flour they use to make the tortillas to the quality of the beef to the salsa bar, and we'd go from everything from you know street. I feel like it's weird having me explain it to you guys, but he brought a white guy in to explain carne asada. But
That's what you guys do.
that's true. It's true. I couldn't put it differently.
I'm having an orgasm.
um, but also, but just that we got you took us to street stands to sit down, carne asada taco stands with craft beer, all the way up to steakhouses with dry aged Chateaubriands and wine cellars, and it was just an unbelievable experience and completely just changed the way I thought about it. And now when I cook carne asada in LA for other white people, they say it's the best they've ever had.
Of course, right? Yeah, it's there's so many. I had chefs tell me that, well, I can do a better steak than they get at the stands in Los Angeles, and of course they're I'd imagine they haven't gone to our best ones, but I always tell them you might be able to cook a steak that can happen anywhere in the world, but to select the right tortilla, to get the right salsas, to get the right sides, and bring them all with some sort of, I mean, when you're cooking regional, you have a set of guidelines, right? But if you don't have those guidelines, you at least have to come from that and be able to reshape it, like I've seen chefs like Eloy do and Javier Pacencia, that they understand it and they can break the rules and do cool things that still work. But can some white chef in LA just cook a steak better and make better carne asada?
But also, like, I can make a better steak than at Taylor's too, but I still
Right.
want to sit in a red booth and have a fucking bone dry beef eater martini and get drunk with a bunch of friends and eat an okay steak. Like, that's just, if you want to stay home your whole life, stay home, watch YouTube videos, learn how to cook, and don't experience culture or life or
Yeah.
expand your horizons.
Yeah, no, that too. It's this idea that just because you can do one aspect of the dish, that you understand what that is, and
For
it is a
sure.
deep tradition, and which kind of leads to my question for Eloy is what what can you tell us about Sonora that you think people just don't understand about the state? Even Chilangos, they're the worst in Mexico about understanding the rest of Mexico. They understand Mexico City very well, and they see everything through that lens. And they often dismiss the North as not being part. They associate it with sometimes like, oh, that's northern. That's more like United States. So what's something that you
So
would
they're
want to
like
tell
they're
people?
like the Santa Monica of Los Angeles.
Yes, they are. They are. They are. They don't leave the city, and they just think everything sucks over on the east side, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it's too far. So, Eloy, tell us, what does Sonora have that people just don't understand?
I believe that everybody understands that we have a terrible weather for some of us, but because it's a lot of heat, it's amazing heat. But uh, that for me, it's like the reason of our food. It's very simple. It's few ingredients, very simple, not much of everything, and that is carne asada. That is what people don't see. That it's not that we have the best or just to have place in any in a ranking or something like that. No, it's just that you need to do the less things that you can because the weather it's terrible. So you need to think, you need to try to be fast, you need to do it well. So I believe that's the reason that we have a great carne asada because it's fresh. I believe if we do the math and we do the statistics, maybe Sonora by Hermosillo, we have the the the, the, the biggest stack of quality fresh beef from US and Mexico, the best, like the fish market in Tokyo or something like that. Maybe that is happening here because we move a lot of fresh meat quality by the best of US and the best of Mexico. So that is what I think that we're not seeing and that we don't know because when we when we talk about meat, it's not only what we produce. That of course we produce the best quality in Mexico, or one of the best, because of course our brothers from the next states are doing a great job. But what we have here to feed our cows, the legacy of the breeds, and the legacy, the heritage of the knowledge of how we do it in the past. Not because we do it, it's because the Europeans bring with they, all that knowledge and past. And now here in the desert, you need to figure out because you're with the cows and you're with the wheat, and fuck, what we're going to do,
Yeah,
you know?
it's really a product driven cuisine, right? It's high quality meats and not just, prime cuts, but all across the board. Even for tacos de cabeza, the beef quality is really high. That's why my favorite tacos de cabeza are in Sonora, because you have that great product with lots of flavor, and then you have
Tacos Yanni.
yes,
Imagine. I say every Bill, when sometimes when some anybody talk to me about the head, the tacos of the cabeza, I always
yeah,
tell to everybody, imagine, but Eloy, there's no marbling in the head. Of course, there's no marbling, but there are the thoughts of being, on the desert, of being on mindfulness, being trying to reach what am I doing here? What's my purpose? So fuck it, we have an amazing taco head.
You know what meal I still think about from that trip all the time is the caldo place we went to.
yes, for
Oh,
the for
pelon villa,
the
pelon villa.
menudo
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
a
and the
century here in.
gallina pinta.
Oh my gosh. It's I would if that was down the street, I would go 4 times a week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's amazing because sorry, Bill, because that kind of food, it's surviving. That was food to survive, food to very clever food to how can I feed my family, how can I make money. In the past, the heads of the cow was thrown away to the garbage. So the grandmother of this guy, of Colombia, the one we met, you know, they start taking the heads, from the rastro. How do you call it where they kill all the cattle?
The
Sacrifice.
the
slaughterhouse.
Sorry,
slaughterhouse.
the
Yeah,
slaughterhouse. Take all those heads from the slaughterhouse, and trying to make dishes, to sell
yeah,
and to feed the family. And that's what I think is carne asada. In the past for us, carne asada, it wasn't about ribeyes, it wasn't about loins. It was just like being being part of the sacrifice, giving the big loins and the high quality meat for the cattle rancher owners, and then trying to know how can you survive with the rest of the parts, and that's why we have great dishes of the blood, great dishes of the head, great stews from the tail, the oxtail, and then the carne asada that is with every part of the cow.
yeah. I mean, look, going back to what you were saying, and your people telling you there's no marbling in the head, and that's nonsense. But I've had tacos de cabeza all over Mexico, and after Sonora, Sinaloa does a really great job. But if you have tacos de cabeza in Mexico City, they're not even flavorful. They don't have the beef. They don't have the same quality, and they don't have good cattle down in that part of Mexico. And so you can get it at a fancy restaurant, but not on the street, you know. And so it does make a difference. And that caldo de cabeza that we had, the gallina pinta, the menudo, amazing. And of course, simple chiles, chile chiltepin, chile colorado for a lot of dishes that you guys have. You don't have a lot of chiles, but the chiles and the product and simple seasonings, it's more than enough. It's like a perfect cuisine.
What do you think about that, Noah?
I mean, I agree. It was incredible. I mean, I had some of the best meals of my life, all packed together in what was it, 2 days, 3 days we were down there.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
I mean,
pretty
Yeah.
look,
fast,
it
right?
was. I mean, I get to tell this. I get to tell the stories all the time. The videos that we made together, people loved. I mean, I said it before, but like I, yeah, I try to be obviously as respectful and claiming certainly no ownership over anything or discovery of anything. I just get excited about things and get to share things that you guys have taught me. But the fact that we were able to do it in a way for our YouTube video, at the very least, that everyone in Sonora was so proud of it, and then of course people from like Chihuahua chimed in to say that their carne asada is better or whatever. But
They-
then that the video did so well that people liked it, that Eloy ended up having people down there who asked us to screen it at the Sonoran Cineteca, and so that, like, that's amazing that we shot a YouTube video for a total budget of about $4,000, and it's screened in a theater in the place that we shot it. Is uh, Makes me very proud of the work that we did. That the people who we were trying to depict and represent in an honorable way, that they were happy with it, makes me very happy.
Yeah, the Carne Asada video that you guys did, you and I were in, um, it was so good that I even got like we all have our haters, and so I had a guy who tagged me, in a story, and he's like came on, for his to talk to his followers. He goes, you know what? I fucking hate Bill Esparza. No, he didn't say Bill. He said, I hate Esparza. But you know what? No lie, this fucking video is badass. And he was like, he goes, yeah, he goes like, whatever. It's all love. He goes, so I recommend you watch this video on Carne Asada and like learn the history. So he was like, so, oh my gosh, even my haters love this video.
That's
But
amazing.
now we all got some hate and fun on a very viral video we did at Valle de Quino on having Cayo de Hacha and conchas on the beach with Eloy. All of us were having this. And how many millions of views did it get?
I think it's like 1.5 now. It's definitely 1 point something.
One point
Yeah,
something
you,
million.
1.6.
you
1.6.
there you go. But who's checking? But yeah, Bill, you rented an apartment in that comment section for a few weeks there.
I did. You know what? I am a wrangler. I'm a sheepdog. So when the comments when they go out to graze, I got to round them up and bring them back in. So
You take him to the slaughterhouse and make caldo de cabeza.
look, I'm like Hannibal Lecter. Like, how he can eat someone's liver and his pulse doesn't jump. So that's me. When I had somebody recently say like, hey, are you okay? I go, honestly, it's like the most therapeutic thing for me to, and I'm not angry. It's text. So you don't know how I'm feeling, but I'm being
You were
sarcastic.
like, usually I'm awful, but in this moment, I'm finally okay.
Yes, in this moment, I'm finally okay. Exactly. Completely at peace. But so we went to Valle de Quino and we had, people were watching, what's the name? What's the lady's name again? Eloy?
Güera cirujana.
Okay. So people were watching La Güera Cirujana do her thing and her spiel and talk dirty to us and give us mariscos.
There's an
And
OnlyFans version of that video we got to put
Right.
at some point.
and and she took water from the that she had there and was cleaning out the Cayo de Hacha, and all the people went crazy. And what cracks me up is like we already went there, and I've been going there for years. We didn't get sick, and I never get sick there, and nobody I've ever brought there has gotten sick. So it's like we're adults. We know where we're eating, and it's something I've been doing in Mexico, all over the coast for years. But yeah, man, they went nuts on the whole dysentery, threads and things.
Yeah, it was mostly a lot of white people asking if you're going to get sick, and then Latinos chiming in to call them racist, and that was the majority of the comment section, as far as I could tell.
Yeah, it was pretty wild, and then of course you got called colonizer. We
Yeah, that's because now I bought a lot of property down there. We're raising the rents, so we're gentrifying down there. We're getting a lot of, as you can tell, the real estate prices have gone up like crazy.
we're
There's
opening our
a
own stand, right?
Uh, and you're not
yeah.
giving me any part of it. You're not including me.
No, what do you mean? You're gonna be the executive chef of the new Williams
Ah,
Sonoma kitchen
okay,
there.
okay.
Yeah, salary. Hourly, please, hourly.
Yeah, you got to make mango salsa for the tacos down there. Okay.
We want
And
seafood
pineapple.
towers. Seafood towers, please. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll be the new executive chef of Guy Fieri, Bahia de Quino.
Right. Of Noah's Ark.
Yeah, of Margaritaville, Bahia de Quino.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, that was incredible. But I think obviously I think we all know this. The comment section is not real life. It's just people just running around, going crazy all over the internet. But
If people
um,
aren't getting mad at you, you're not reaching enough people.
yeah, but the funny part is that it's funny, and I finally figured out why you've had a good career on the B list of the food world uh, food shows, right?
Yeah.
you know, it's a hard circuit to crack into to get into that upper echelon, but you've
Oh,
been
for sure.
consistently doing shows for years, and when we were there, and you said. You said something for the intro. It's like some people say this is the best seafood in the world. Well, it is, or something like that. And at the
Oh, I
time
think
when
I,
I
I
was,
shit talked Tokyo or something as a
well, then
bit, but yeah.
because I had said something about that, and you like, oh no, I said something about Tokyo. You said suck it, Tokyo, and so anyways, but when I watched the video, it really was a nice. The beats that you got in that when I was there and I didn't see it. So I did not see your genius, Noah, when we
Well,
were on.
that's to be honest, that's Ben's genius. Ben Levitt, my
Yeah.
amazing creative partner, director, editor, and all the stuff we do. He shoots the show Barbecue Smokeout with us too. I say 10 dumb things, and if the 11th one's any good, he puts it in the edit and cuts the other stuff out.
Yes. Right. So, he knows what works for you on camera, and and I was, like I said, I was very impressed how one video ended up in the cinema and the other ended up having 1.5 million views. So that lot of fun. And of course, we did not, now Eloy, we did not have to go to La Huera Cirujana for mariscos because this was a carne asada mission. But didn't we go there? I mean, it's still one of the highlights of the trip, right?
Always La Güera Cirujana, it's like she has everything fresh and the way she treats us. And I believe, for me, when they tell me, what do you have over, why do you live in Hermosillo? What's over there? Of course, the meat always, but the callo, the hacha, having with the small langoustine inside, alive, moving, you know. For me, it's something that I want to show it to everybody who comes to Hermosillo. If we have the time, need to go there, right, Noah?
We brought
That
the Buki Bichi too, right?
Yeah, oh, of course, Bukivichi, we
Yeah,
went to
BYOB.
Bukivichi. Yeah, ooh,
You know what my
having this
favorite
experience.
clam was
Yes,
of all of them, though? Was
Which one?
the bikini clam.
the lady leg.
The little wasn't that the one, the little white one?
Oh, yeah. The small.
It
Yeah,
just
I
had
mean,
like that perfect briny clean. It's not like the viral one that looks like
oh wait,
the
are you talking
head
about the gooey duck?
no, not the gooey duck. It was like I thought you said it was a bikini clam. And
I don't even
but it
know where
was like
I think you're making that up.
no,
Yes.
I'll find the picture and you can tell me
It's no
what it's
bikini
actually
clam.
called. You called it something like that. But because obviously the other ones that go viral, there's the one that looks like the head from Beetlejuice where they stretch her nose out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a gooey duck. So we did have gooey duck. We did have chocolatas.
That one.
That's the gooey duck.
That's the gooey duck
Yeah.
in that clamshell.
Yes.
Wow.
and it's not a cultivated one. It's a wild gooey duck.
Oh, that's why.
It's a pierna de mujer.
Yeah, lady leg, lady leg.
Lady
The
leg.
lady leg. You're like bikini.
Somebody said bikini. Maybe they just saw one walking by.
You're like, yeah, okay. So the pierna de mujer is a gooey duck, like a wild gooey duck.
Ah.
And we also had, but again, what I like about that beach is you can get chocolatas, which we have to watch out for. They're endangered right now, but chocolatas are very common at this point in Mexico. But they also have the almeja colorada, which is in the same family, and a bunch of other clams. So you could try so many clams there. And there's two types of callo de hacha. The other one is the callo, uh, ¿cómo se llama? La otra,
Actually, there's four: the riñón, the luna,
riñón. Callo de riñón is
riñón,
the other one we
luna,
had.
the hacha, the garra de león.
Right. They have that one there too, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, but you usually find only one or two, you know.
Right. You don't have all of them at once. But that day
Yes,
we had the callo de hacha and the callo de riñón,
the
which
riñón,
you
media
never see
luna.
that in the callo de hacha. People bring it over here, but no, I don't know if you've ever had it here in LA, but a lot of the guys that get it, it's like mushy and it's losing its you know flavor. It's starting to get funky a little bit, and so there's just nothing like someone opening it up fresh. You can only do that in along the coast there in Sea of Cortez and also in Tokyo.
Mm.
Bill, if I can, I will bring some for Noah's lunch. This 2026, please
You mean
remember,
for
buy the
you and I to
ticket.
have before we go?
Yes, for no, and for those who come, for those who buy tickets.
I need you to smuggle some bacanora up for me, Eloy. That's what I really need.
Hey,
But yeah, for
you
anybody
know,
who's still
no,
who's
please.
listening to the
Hey,
show,
we're calling to the Bacanora brass to understand what we're doing. They don't fucking get and don't have an idea of what Noah is doing, what you Bill been doing for a lot of years. You know, we're trying to figure out how to let them know. Hey, now you're listening to these guys. Remember Noah? Remember Bill?
Yeah,
We need Bacanora.
Eloy brings show after show after show to Sonora, and they don't listen to him. They're like, yeah, go away, kid.
but speaking of that event again, this is if for anybody listening in LA, this is your chance to eat Eloy's food. It's an incredible deal. You get a copy of the book. We've got beer from Coronado Brewing, wine from Scribe Winery, and Eloy and Jose Luis are flying up, and they're going to make the best carne asada tacos in the world in a parking lot in Van Nuys. It's going to sell out. I'm sure that we'll have the ticket link in the show notes here or in my bio on Instagram, and I'm telling you guys, if you miss out on this, you're going to kick yourself for as long as it takes until Eloy comes back again.
Oh no, it's Eloy does an incredible traditional carne asada, and he elevates it, but it's still traditional. Um, Amazing. We've done events before over the years, and he's definitely one of the ones I always want to call. But talk to us about the book. You
Yeah.
got a couple plugs in already, and we know that this is one recipe that there. Oh, there it is. It's beautiful. Grill time. You know,
Yeah, I'm so proud of this book. I'm so excited about it. I'm a guy who grew up in LA who I've worked at tons of different restaurants. I've learned from some of the best chefs in the world, everyone from Eloy to Jeremy Fox to Kevin Bloodsoe and Ari Collender. I'm like an academic who's a nerd about food who got lucky and got to learn from great people and have been writing recipes and working in the food business for 20 something years now. And this is my second solo cookbook, and it's really a grilling book about the way that I feed my family and my friends. And it's everything from kind of healthy weeknight quick dinners for the kids to big kind of weekend project grilling, and my barbecue background being able to smoke a 2-inch thick ribeye on the cold side of a wood and charcoal grill, and then flip it to the hot side, get a nice sear on it, cover it in a nice compound butter. But also, I was like, it's crazy to write a cookbook about grilling and not have carne asada in the book. and that's what led me to reaching out to Bill and meeting Eloy, who's now become such a dear friend of mine. And he came to a party at my house once, even. Bill wasn't in town. You were invited though, Bill. And
Oh,
Rob,
partying behind my back, huh?
Rob, I'll invite you to the next one. But but yeah, and it's become this, like, Eloy is this special person who he can access this level of like emotion and purity and sincerity and love that my cold heart cannot publicly express. And that's why it's so great to be with him, because I feel those things, but I don't know how to emote them sometimes. And it comes through in his food and his passion. And I knew that there was no better way to kick off this 21 city book tour than in LA with Eloy. And we were going to do it at like a nice restaurant originally. And then we were like, no, it's an Asada. We should just be outside at the Bloodsoes barbecue parking lot in Van Nuys. And we're just going to eat and drink and have a great time. And it's just going to be the best time. And I'm so proud of this book. And the photography that the team did for it is incredible. Every single recipe has a photo. And it's just going to be a really fun summer. I get to go and cook with my heroes and my friends, everyone from Eloy to Chris Bianco and Renee Erickson and Ann Kim, Frank Pinello in Brooklyn. Um, I'll be at the Pheasant in Cape Cod with Aaron Franklin and Kevin Bloodsoe in Texas. It's like I kind of, I'm not in kitchens every day anymore. And it's great because I get to see my kids, which is better than being in a kitchen. But I miss some of the action sometimes, and this is my way to do it. And I get to do it with literally some of the actual best chefs in the world. And I'm so lucky that I get to do it, and I'm so thrilled to get to cook with Eloy and see Jose Luis again. And if Bill's not in a comment section yelling at somebody about cream cheese, then we'll be able to have him there too, hopefully.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I want to come, and the book sounds amazing.
I've coined Eloy's new nickname in the video. He's the Bacanora Buddha now.
He is the well, he is a guru. I mean, he is definitely like a very very tall Mexican Yoda, and he's like, feel the carne asada flowing through you. Just like really.
He's like a tall Mexican Chris Bianco, actually. Like, they're very similar in the way that they like speak so passionately and eloquently, and they both don't think that they do. And everyone who meets them adores them. And they're kind of philosophers and chefs, but they don't like those kind of labels.
Oh, Eloy doesn't mind, and he's
no,
he,
I'm about to cry. I'm out. This is not,
he
you
cries
know.
every time.
Oh, but Noah,
I,
appreciate a lot, brother. Chris, if you look in this, he's the god of the Godfathers. He's the kingpin of the Godfathers.
yeah.
He's my goal. I love you.
My tour,
And
literally, the first stop on the tour is Eloy, and the last stop is Chris in Phoenix.
we're gonna be there. The gang, Sonora gang, gonna be
Please,
there. Supporting you,
please.
Noah and Chris. You will remember this.
Listen to me.
Yes,
If you're
yes.
there, you're not supporting, you're cooking, brother.
Yeah, Eloy, how does it feel to have Sonora in grill time?
Oh, I didn't believe that this is going to happen. Because after the trip and everything, of course, yes, carne asada and like all the travels and all the trips and all the teams, uh, love to all of them, those. But then, with the Noah was the only one, and I'm not trying to say it. Noah sent a bottle of the finest whiskey, to celebrate, of the grab of shooting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Noah. Thanks. And in that moment, I was like, "Fuck, this guy is real." And after that, continue talking like, "Hey, Eloy, blah 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 blah." What? And I was like, "Yeah, really?" And when I was at his home this 23 December 23 on Christmas Eve, or I don't know how you call that, Noah,
Christmas Eve Eve.
Eve, Eve. We were there, having an amazing time and sharing about all of these. And I was like, oh, we're having a special section on the book. And if you look at those, all the people who is listening to these, and you can look at the review, and because it has an Hermosillo style uh, recipes and special section, so it's amazing to have Sonora in a cookbook of Noah. I don't know if people can understand. We have been talking to the universities in order so they can order the book, and to the community. I believe that it's a really good
Yeah.
deal, to have a book of $35, 700 pesos in Hermosillo, and knowing the knowledge of Noah and having ideas, tips, and of course having Hermosillo, their town, in a book. Hey guys, I'm offering a signed book of Noah.
I love it. I love it.
I'm like the new Diana Kennedy, Bill.
Your idol.
Yes, no, of course.
Yeah, you're
Noah, we,
Bill.
we sent we sent an email. We
no,
sent
not
an
of
email.
course.
Bill has a bone to pick with Diana Kennedy, and I understand it completely. But for a
Hey,
kid
you
growing
you
up
were
with
actually
no
you were actually
access to
there
her
for her shitty
recipes,
dinner.
but as a but this is also the problem with kind of how the publishing world worked for so long, is that I didn't know about other ways to find out about Mexican cooking and recipes as a kid, and
Yeah.
her books were the ones that were out there.
Well, there were out there, Noah. They're just in Spanish in Mexico.
Yeah, well, they weren't out there in the Santa Monica used bookstores I was going to.
Yeah. Santa Monica. See, all our problems come from there.
That's it.
Stephen Miller. Um. So okay. Well, and we've plugged the book. We're going to do another one at the end here, but I kind of want to I want to do some hot takes with you guys. I know Noah, you're good at this. You got strong opinions, and
I have strong opinions.
honestly, you said you were you were afraid to have me in the comments section, but the truth is, you're one of the few people I've worked with that actually pushes back and has your own strong opinions, and I love that about you. So I talked to you about this the other. So I'm gonna go. I'll start with you, and then I'm gonna jump to Eloy and go back and forth and get a couple of hot takes from you guys. Um, because I definitely want to put Eloy on the spot on Carne Asada. But so these New Yorkers, you're a New Yorker.
This is when you called me and you said you called. You go, no, are you Jewish? And I was like, damn, Bill, like, what's you working for a new department of the government? What's happening?
The last name,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Technically, I'm not Jewish. It's my dad's side, which means you're
it's your
technically
dad's
not.
side, right? You okay?
But
Yeah,
I grew up around a lot of that stuff. But
I
yeah.
don't
But
know
my
all the rules, you know. But yeah, you did tell me that you're not, I guess, Jewish enough.
I mean, not technically Jewish from a classical standpoint, but I
A classical
definitely
standpoint. But
grew
you're
up
from New
with
York.
a lot of culture. My family's from New York. I grew up in LA, but my family's from New York, and I spent a lot of time out
You
there.
spent a lot of time there, so I think more than I've been to I've had pizza, all kinds of pizza in New York. I've had all kinds of bagels. I haven't really bothered with the Chinese food. I don't necessarily need to fly across the country to eat egg rolls, and but
There's some good stuff in Flushing. You can make it out to Flushing one of these
I can
days.
make it out to Flushing. I'm
Yeah,
always in Washington Heights having Dominican, or Jackson Heights having Ecuadorian.
that's the smarter move. It's a smarter move.
Yeah, but
We've
all
got
right,
we've
I'll
got
take
great
your word
Chinese
for it.
here, so yeah.
I'll take your word for it. But so I told you about and we're gonna do a whole bagel episode. But I had this thing on Threads, and just basically stating that what my ultimate goal is to talk about how the bagel culture is very different in LA and New York. It's only New Yorkers that seem to complain about bagels. All New Yorkers complain about bagels not being great out here in Los Angeles, and of course we don't even have nearly as much. So you had a different take on this, and so do you think our bagels are really inferior than those bagels in New York?
So what I think about this, and it's kind of my same rant about pizza in LA, and when New Yorkers complain and say that it's the water and all this stuff, is that like at the end of the day, I think there can be great versions of anything anywhere. But what ends up happening a lot of times is you have these like artisans who move to New York in the early days of American immigration. They figure out how to make a great product for their community. They make it, it's great. Their kids take over the business and they go, wait a second, I want to actually make money and expand and not just live
Yeah.
above the store that my parents made. And so they all they know is their parents' recipe. So then they try to open in LA or Las Vegas and they go, "Oh, it's not coming out the way my dad's did. It can't be that
Yeah.
I'm a shitty bagel maker or a shitty pizza maker. It must be that the water is doing it wrong. And that must
Right.
be the problem." Yet, I'm pretty sure Chris Bianco figured out how to make pizza in LA, in Phoenix, in New York. The great ones know what they're doing. And so I think that's what happens. And just like, there are great tacos in New York, there are great pizza places and bagel places in LA, but the base level, the average place you go to, the average taco in LA is better than the average taco in New York, and the average slice in New York is better than the average slice in LA. So the base level is much higher out there for those dishes. And that's just kind of what it is. Um, but people in New York also get mad when who was it that wrote about saying that Courage was like the best bagel in America, and everyone got mad at them.
Right. Which they're not New York style bagels. They're Montreal style and Montreal and with the California touch, right?
Yeah, but I think like everything, it's like if you're an artisan and you're trying to make something that you believe in and do, like, it's like me saying like, I'm writing crime novels, and they go, "Well, you're not as good as Raymond Chandler," and it's like, yeah, but I'm not trying to be Raymond Chandler. Like
Yeah.
you gotta,
Yeah.
Sarah Minnick is one of my favorite pizza makers in the world, and nobody makes pizza like her. She does her own thing. And if you're a true artist, you make it the way that is to your taste, and you see if people agree with you, and you see if you make money on it. And that's it.
I I totally agree with what Noah is saying, because it's the same with carne asada. Sonora is a big state, which is you I don't remember the miles, but I believe it's around from San Luis Rio, Colorado to Navojoa. You're driving at least 8 hours, 8 or 9 hours driving. So it's 5 countries of Europe over there. So the taco de carne asada from Sonora is not the same from the north of Sonora than from Hermosillo, than from the south of Sonora, Navojoa or Obregon. So it's very different.
We agree Hermosillo is the main city for carne asada in Sonora.
I'm not saying that.
Oh, you're not saying that. Um,
No, no, no.
well, okay.
I'm saying that it's different.
No, no. What I'm saying is that you can find all the fucking Eloy, that you can find all the carne asada styles in Hermosillo. You can find street stands. You can find paquetes. You can find uh, uh, sit down taquerias, fine dining taquerias. You can find steakhouses, family style steakhouses, and then old school steakhouses and modern steakhouses. That you have all the levels of carne asada in Hermosillo. So my question for you: Hermosillo versus Monterrey, who has the better carne asada?
I believe, that the reason why Sonora has better carne asada, it's because what don't happen in Monterrey, because I've been there a lot of times, is that the meat from the taquerias are not the same from the high-end restaurants. If you
Yeah,
go to San Pedro Garza Garcia or those places, it's different meat, quality meat. But in Hermosillo, often it's the same source from the steak. The best steakhouses from Hermosillo has the same quality meat in the taco stands, and that's why we have better places. It's not because they're better or not, because everybody who's make carne asada, it's deserve everything in life, you know. But quality in terms of whatever you call it, you can taste it. And people eat meat because they like the taste. And the taste we like is the marbling meat. No, this is
Yeah.
not grass fed. This is not grass fed. This is grain fed, and that's
Yeah.
why. Because we produce wheat, we have the best flour tortillas. I'm not saying that. The statistics say it. We
Say it.
are,
Say it.
uh, no, we have it. But I don't need to say it because we have it. If you have it, you don't have to say it because you have it. And it's not of me. I don't do tortillas. It's because we have great flour, great
Yeah.
grains. We have, and then that's the reason we have great cattle because Baja California and Sinaloa doesn't have a lot of wheat, doesn't have a lot of grains, and also doesn't have Monterrey. They have to buy it. It's hard. It's hard because if you're not subside, it's hard. U.S. have subsides, and that's why you have great marblings. But in Mexico, you have to appeal to what you have, and what
Yeah.
we have in the desert is a lot of wheat. We are top of the industries in flour
Yeah.
wheat. So that's why we have a lot of great cattle. Also, because we fed them well. Everybody can have cattle, great breeds cattle in their backyards, but how are you going to feed? That's what Noah said.
Yes.
How I'm going
Yeah.
to feed my
The
kids? How I'm going to feed the community? How I'm going to feed my animals? How I'm going to feed? Everything's about food.
yes.
No.
Yes. I agree. It's the quality at the street level is super high in the meat and the tortillas. And come on, everybody. For there's so many new carne asada spots popping up that are Mexico City based in the US, and they're using corn tortillas. I'm like, oh my God, it's not the right flavor. Um so okay, moving on to and so again, Noah, I do. It's funny because I throw shade at you constantly on this breakfast unintentionally,
No.
because I breakfast. I did a whole thing about how I hate breakfast burritos, and
Yeah.
I was saying I was like saying it's like because the egg gets muted in the tortilla, blah 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 blah. But I said, that's the reason why you have to put smoked potatoes in there. I go, oh shit, that's Noah.
Hey, hey, dollars don't lie, man. The people have spoken.
The
But
P, the P, yes, I lose.
no, but that was honestly like this was a product of being an LA guy. Like we are a breakfast burrito town. We are not a breakfast taco town.
Yeah,
And so when we opened Koufax Coffee, the little coffee shop on Fairfax, we had I was running Bloodsoes at the time, and they opened it. And they didn't have any food in the back, and they look at their ticket averages, and it's just a few bucks for coffee, and they go, "We got to serve some food." They didn't have a hood, and they said, "Noah, what do you think you could put together for us?" So I figured we have the smokers already. If I'm trying to make a good vegetarian burrito, I discovered over time that if you smoke tomatoes and tomatillos, those two vegetables to me take smoke better than any other vegetables that I found. And so we made this like smoked potato hash with tomatillos and potatoes and all this stuff. And you can basically smoke it, fry it up at the commissary kitchen, and then just bring it over on induction pans and do it that way. And vegetarians lost their mind because they always get the raw end of the deal. And so we started doing it. We did those. We had a chorizo version, and it just kind of it took off, and people flipped out, and they liked that we grilled the tortilla because people like crunch on the outside,
yeah.
But it's also it's honestly it's inspired by Taco Bell, you know what I mean? And then and so it worked, and then it was so busy that we had to close the kitchen to remodel it to add a hood to do the volume they were doing, and look, that was like a you know necessity is mother of invention kind of thing. We made something we thought tasted good based
Yeah.
on what we had access to, and needed to make something that you could bake in batches in bulk, and it just kind of took off.
Yeah, I feel like you escalated this, moving the breakfast burrito out of the Mexican community into the white community and mainstream
Writers'
of
rooms in Los Angeles, basically. I mostly feed writers' rooms in Los Angeles. TV
yeah. Well,
writers
the
with
writers all
Bloodsoes and Prime and
you are the
Koufax.
writer's choice. They love it. But
They're right.
I saw this terrible reel recently, and they were asking all these people. I think they were in Silver Lake, and it was only white people, and they were telling about their favorite breakfast burritos in LA, and it was like Great White, Erewhon. It was just terrible, and I was like, Oh my God, you guys aren't even mentioning. A few did mention some Mexican places, but like mostly, and Kofax got mentioned, but like
Because my favorite is La Azteca,
I was going to
and
ask you.
then my
Okay, so tell me about your favorite breakfast burrito.
so it's La Azteca just because the tortillas are so good. But then my favorite white version breakfast burrito is Lucky Boy in Pasadena because
Okay,
that's an American breakfast wrapped in a tortilla. Although it is better, actually, I've discovered with chorizo than it is with bacon.
okay.
Also, very underrated is Miranchito Veracruz
Oh,
on Satacoy.
yeah, I
Right?
know
Is it
it.
on Satacoy? They something
They've
about
moved
like mashed
around, so I'm not sure
potatoes,
where they are now.
but like mashed potatoes and chorizo together is kind of like it's like a perfect carb burrito because it's not going to spill. It's the potatoes soak up all that chorizo juice. You can eat it while you're driving with one hand and sitting in traffic going to a meeting, and that's really what LA breakfast burritos are for.
Yeah. Well, my favorite breakfast burrito is the uh, burrito de carne con chile.
Oh.
Where?
We had it in Hermosillo.
Oh, I thought you meant in LA. Oh yeah.
No, Um, I mean, I talked about this before on the episode on the breakfast burrito episode, but I prefer the Mexican breakfast burritos. But there's one down in San Diego at El Carrito that's mostly pork machaca, like shredded pork, not dried pork and that's reconstituted, but a shredded pork that's juicy. It's got a very little bit of egg, and so the main flavor is a juicy pork machaca. That's my favorite
Can I
breakfast
ask?
burrito north of the
Can I
border.
ask you? Can I ask you an LA breakfast question, Bill?
Yeah.
Put you on blast. Uh, so one thing that I love in LA is like Mexican breakfast plates that are more like kind of like American diners, but like got shifted through the
Yeah.
Mexican flavor thing. So whether it's like machaca and eggs, huevos divorciados. What is the best place? What are the best places in LA to sit down and have like? I wanted a cafe. I want a cafe de olla, and I want like a plate with a side of tortillas of Mexican breakfast.
This is a big, so this is a deficit we have here in Los Angeles. We don't
Yeah.
have traditional Mexican breakfast places. They're mostly taquerias. I went to, one recently, this, taco lichi, which is basically taco de cabeza. We have
Hmm.
birria spots, we have cabeza
Yeah.
spots, we have barbacoa, we have carnitas, but we don't have like a sit down old school. We have restaurants like La Casita that do
Hmm.
something like what you're talking about. La Casita does that. Rocio's in Bell
Yeah,
Gardens does it.
they're all out in Bell. There's nothing like west of of like downtown, certainly that I can think of.
Yeah,
There's
or
places that
there's
have it, but it's like
or they're scattered. I would say that okay, the best place for me to get a Mexican breakfast, and it's not an egg dish, is the Chilaquiles at Taquiarte, California,
mm,
in Pico Rivera. That
oh
place
yeah.
has the best Mexican style chilaquiles with the correct salsa that goes in it, and they'll add eggs on it, of course, if you want. So I would say that, but again, they don't have a full breakfast menu. And what you're talking about is a place that has all kinds of egg dishes like
Like I want
divorciados.
chorizo and eggs, divorciados. Like you end up at like Monte Alban and places like that, and it's
Yeah, the Oaxacan places will have them, but they'll be Oaxacan style.
yeah.
Like their huevos rancheros are not my kinds of huevos. If those places do them, they don't really huevos rancheros is not their thing. Um, so yeah, I don't really.
It's tough. Those are to
It's
me like when you're looking at like, like downtown and west and like, not going too far into the valley, but like with getting, before you get into like Granada Hills and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like your options for like if people came to LA and they thought it's great Mexican food, I want to have great Mexican food and sit down and have margaritas, or I want to have like a chorizo and eggs breakfast plate with like a cafe de olla. like that's not our strong suit in LA.
No, we have Mexican American places that do it, but it's not the same that you're talking about where they're more traditional breakfasts. And again, that's not like they're just not combo plates. They're actual dishes, like the divorciados and things. The for me, the only two places that I really want to have that Mexican breakfast are Taquiarte for the chilaquiles, or I go to Comedor Tenchita for the um, higaditos, or Casa
Hmm.
Gishpak for the salsa de
Yeah.
huevos. The salsa de huevos at Casa Gishpak is, have you had it?
Oh yeah. No, I want to go now.
So, and it's their version of I mean, it's not a ranchera sauce or anything, but it's a great salsa. So those are the three Mexican breakfasts that I love in Los Angeles. But again, you can't find a place that has the menu of all of those things.
And what if somebody wanted like a an enchilada taco combo and a margarita? Where are you sending them?
Well, I think I love all the classics still. El Tepeyac is great for a real LA version of that. I'm a fan of Casa Vega. You know, certain there's definitely at all those places, because I grew up with a different Mexican American tradition. There's dishes that I really like and favor in all those places. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, those places. Lupe's number two, Allen B's, the ones that we all love already. This is not something new, but those places are all still great. And La Azteca, you know, is wonderful.
Ugh.
So we have this event. So let's talk about your event. This is you know uh, the end where we're gonna let you plug the event, and we're all gonna be there. I'm hoping I'm gonna be there. What's the date?
May 26th, Bill. May 26th at Bloodsoe's Barbecue, the takeout stand in Van Nuys. We're taking over the parking lot. We've got wine from Scribe Winery, beer from Coronado Brewing, sparkling water from Spindrift, and Eloy and Jose Luis are flying up from Hermosillo to make the best carne asada tacos in the world. Buy a ticket, you get a book, you get to hang with me and Eloy, you get to eat carne asada, you get to have the famous frijoles, and you get to have an amazing time. And it's going to be an amazing thing. And even if you don't want the book, it's a great Father's Day gift. Come eat the tacos. Give the book to somebody who wants it for Father's Day. You got your Father's Day shopping out of the way. And it's going to
Yeah,
be a hell of a time. And honestly, by the time this comes out, tickets might already be sold out. So if you're hearing this and they're not, grab them. Because
and
I think we're only going to let in about 100 people.
okay, and this truly will be the best carne asada experience you can ever have in LA. We have a handful of great vendors here that I really love, and but Hermosillo's otro pedo. It's another level. And so Eloy is going to be doing something that you can't experience unless you go to Hermosillo and to his
And remember,
home
Bill, the best taco we had in Hermosillo, where was it?
at not at Eloy's
Eloy's
house.
backyard.
Yeah, at Eloy's house. And also, people, the subtle things. Eloy kind of, I would say he underplayed the richness of Sonora, and it is ingredient. But do you remember this technique with the beans?
Oh my God,
Can
I
you
do it
can
all the
you
time.
can you because that was the first time I saw that, and it kind of blew me away too. Tell us about the way Eloy does refried beans, and then we're gonna say goodbye here.
Yeah, so basically you cook pintos typically, but also was it the caballeros you liked? Or what was the other bean you like? No, the mayacoba. Yeah.
Mayakoba.
So the mayacobas are great for it too. And so basically you cook them just water and that's it. And then you basically put them in the pan and you mash them to get the water level right. And then you heat up lard till it's at a big high smoke point. You put the powdered chile colorado on top of the beans and then you pour the hot lard on top so it fries the chili powder without burning it. And then it infuses in with the beans. You stir it together, and then you throw a bunch of cheese in there, and it melts in. And you have like refried beans that are orange from fat, and it's the best. It's the best, and they're almost like a condiment bean that you can put onto your tacos too.
Right. And so when we go, we talk about this, in the Mexican community all the time about not being able to find good frijoles in Los Angeles. I always tell people go to the Oaxacan restaurants; they do it right. And But other places, the Sinaloan places here do it because they'll upcharge you for it, because if you want to get the frijoles puercos, you have to pay a little bit more, and it's worth it. But seeing that technique, that you can't just say it's just refried beans. It's a really special technique, and it gets amazing flavor that you're just not going to find unless you're taking all these steps to make them. And that's the kind of thing that when it comes together, the high quality steak, the tortillas, the incredible salsas, the the refried beans that you're going to put in there, to add a little bit of flavor, a little bit of buttery texture, is so amazing when it all comes together.
It's the best. It's the best in the world, man.
Best in the world.
Love you, Bill.
I love you
love
too.
You, Eloy.
I love you both.
Rob, I'm growing to love you. We didn't talk that much today, though.
Eloy, Chef Noah. Thank you guys for spending this time with me. It was good to catch up.
Anytime, Bill. Lovely to talk to you, as always.
Thank you for tuning in to the Taqueando podcast this week. And be sure to tune in next week for another episode. And please leave us a rating or review wherever you listen to your podcasts.